Welcome to the weight room. I'm Dr. Claire and delighted to have another show here on Monday night. We have an interesting one of our favorite guests back, but before that, let me bring on my co-host. The Reverend, the Elder, Coach Jerome Case. What's up, Coach?
What's up? What's going on, doctor?
What's going on?
How
How
are
was
you
the
doing
week?
today?
I'm good.
Week's
How
been
was the
good.
week? Yeah, you got the babies down?
I got them put down. Yes,
The babies
yes,
are down. The wife is good. She over in the green room.
yeah, right.
She
The crying room.
she's in the crying room. Well,
Yeah,
like I said earlier, we
yeah.
have one of our favorite guests. Our friend Aisha. She always comes on with some interesting topics, and so tonight we'll be talking about the soft life. Let me pronounce that right.
Soft.
The soft life, whatever that is. Aisha's gonna let us know what that means because you know I'm an old head. I don't know what it means. I don't know about you.
I've
So
heard of this
you heard
so-called
of it?
soft life. It might mean something to different people, but I'm
Right.
gonna hear it from Aisha what the soft life is,
Yeah.
and then
Because
we'll see
shoot,
how the
we
soft
might be
life.
missing out on something.
Well, I think it's a woman thing, so I don't think it's for men.
Now don't go starting that. Okay. Well, we'll let her.
I'm serious. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
It's a
no,
woman
no. I'm
thing.
not. No, honestly, I think it's a woman thing, and I think Aisha's going to clear this up because no man is trying to live the soft life. I mean, by context and reasonable deduction, I've never had a man say, "I'm looking for the soft life," but I have heard women say it.
Okay. Aisha, come on and help us out.
I knew Coach was going to say that, and I have some, things to kind of share with him. But good evening, Dr. Claire and Coach. How are you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It is Women's History Month, so I'm
That's
just really
right.
just embracing being a woman and just also cheering those women in my life on and just showing appreciation to what they are doing in this world and laying the foundation and so I can build upon. So happy Women's History Month, everyone.
Happy, happy Women's History Month to you too.
Yes.
Happy Women's History Month.
Yes, so I'm so excited about today because we get to talk about embracing a soft lifestyle. So I know you guys
Mm,
talked a little bit about this before I came on, but it's not a woman thing, Coach.
thank
It's
you.
also yes. So the soft life is really just a total submission to God, which can be challenging for all of us with stress,
That's the
trauma, depression.
Christian soft life.
Yeah, it's a Christian soft
Okay.
life. And,
Okay.
as we say, life be lifing. And as our pastor would
Oh,
say, life has trouble built into it. But it's really
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's really just leaning on the scripture, Proverbs 3 and 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your thy own understanding, but in all ways acknowledge him and he shall direct
Hmm.
your path. So it's really the soft life is intentionally pursuing ease in life and giving things all over to God. And so I want to talk with you guys about that tonight.
Okay. So
no,
how
no. Hold up,
go
hold up,
ahead.
hold up, hold up. She knew this was coming, so that's because y'all gonna take y'all somebody that took a peaceful life and now they want to call it a soft life. But
Mm.
I did my research on the soft life real
Uh-oh.
briefly. And so from what I understand, it was started by some Nigerian influencers about soft life. It was for women.
Mhm.
So that's where I got the soft life. And then my wife tells me, she's like, I'm living a soft life. And I'm like, what is that? She's like, well, you can do the hard stuff and I'll do the other stuff. And that's and I have my what are the ladies wearing? These Lululemon pants and
Mhm.
soft sweatshirts and pants. That's what she considers the soft life, right? And
Okay.
I heard that the soft life was also. No, I'm just putting this out here. This is the
Yeah.
culture thing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, it's like what's it? Minimal labor. Definition of duties. The goal is to
Self care
enjoy your life without having to endure hardships and pains and burdens
and
that deal with
struggles.
work and struggle and hands to plows. So I'm here
Yeah.
to hear about this soft life, because if I ever hear a man tell me he's trying to live a soft life, I'm like, brother, you gotta have to define that for me. Because David,
Right. And so we don't hear men say the soft lifestyle, but how do you, when you men depend on God, how do you describe that? Because depending on God kind of alleviates some of that stress, and it causes peace, a kind of softness in your heart. So,
Submission.
yeah.
That's what they
hold on,
call that, submission.
right? Where before you pin me down with the men, you tried it. Everybody, they tried it. Claire was over there looking like with her eyes like, yeah.
Hmm.
So no, Aisha, I want you to tell me, and I did interrupt your explanation because I was having some fun with it. But do tell, what is the biblical soft life?
Yeah, do tell.
Yeah, so really, again, living out what the Bible says, which is in Proverbs, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart." So, kind
Hmm.
of, casting all your cares on Him, because if we trust in God, we know that He's going to have the best for us. We are the apple of His eye, and so really, just giving Him all, so we can really live out His will on earth that He has for us. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's hard to do that because life is stressful. Like I said, life be life. And
Life
so
be life.
so how do we eliminate some of that stress and really live out the life that God has for us and have a good quality of life so we can really be the disciples and witnesses that will bring others to Him. And hopefully
So
they can embrace that self lifestyle too.
Okay,
so
so answer that
who
question. How do we?
came up? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to who defined this as the soft life. I need to know, because that I don't know a one theologian who said anything about the soft life, and I definitely don't remember hearing that in the Bible.
Mhm.
So, because I heard this world would be full of hardships and troubles.
Oh boy.
Right.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
that part.
no, no,
It's
no,
full
no,
of
no.
I think
trouble.
I'm just no. I'm asking, like, is this a new? This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the
Mhm.
concept of peace, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not talking about the understand the Zoe life, right? Living
Mhm.
this peaceful fullness life of everything. Not that. So you said Zoe life, right? I'm like, cool,
Right.
Mhm.
but who termed this soft life term?
Mhm.
And I'm not knocking it, because people come up with new things,
Mhm.
with new titles for established things. I don't
Everything.
call things old, right?
Mhm.
Right, like new dances, but like that ain't a new
Mhm.
dance. We've been doing that in '85. So,
Right.
so no, seriously, it means something to you. So I'm want to know where did you get that from or hear that from?
Well, I heard about it because it was more of people thinking that it was about people who were privileged, that
Hmm.
they get to stay at home and get up, put their silk pajamas on with their heels, walking through the house, going out to the pool, just hanging out all that day. But I looked at that and I'm like, we can all have that. So for me, I am conceptualizing this and how I kind of integrate that into my lifestyle. So there may be the societal concept of what the soft lifestyle is, but how do I integrate that for me and my lifestyle? And the way I integrate that is really living a life of peace and dependency on God.
So you heard the term, and now you flipped it, turned
You,
it upside down
you
from your
spiritualize it.
definition.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So
say it like
that
an
is
old
why
dude,
you can
like an
embrace
old.
the soft lifestyle too.
like you took Lean Back by Fat Joe and said, I'm leaning back in the Lord's arms, right? You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go.
Yes, yes,
Okay, because
yes.
I was confused. Like, don't I? I'm older. I got in trouble the other day. I used the word cap with somebody, and I
Mhm.
said, "Man, dude, this is full of cap, bro." And I understand what I meant, but he was like, he hit me up like, "You calling me a liar?" I'm like, "Yo, I'm not saying you lying, man, but it's like you're not totally. You kind of stretching a little bit." And so we over 40, so he's like, "Look, all right, man, we're just not gonna use these new terms. Let's stick to the ones we know."
Right.
Yes. So I think it's really, yeah, this, I think you have these trendy words that come out. And I really think it does bring like a sense of peace in your life. And so just think about the opposite of a soft life, especially in our community physically, if we are not, depending on God, it shows up in heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So if we do cast all of our cares on him, our anxieties, our worries, our concerns, because we know that he cares for us, then we can eliminate some of that stress in our lives.
Okay. So
I'm
so
tell you
that's
right
what you're
now,
talking about is stress. Because the way I've heard
peace.
it is denying the hustle culture.
And that's
Oh,
a
now
part
that's
of it too. I'm going to talk about too, because I think, and the Bible talks about, we need to be transformed and not conform to this world. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like our society pushes to hustle. It's
Mm-hmm.
the exact opposite of
The
what the Bible
grind.
tells us to do. And
Mm-hmm.
oh
so
yeah.
with that physically, if we don't do that, it shows up in our bodies and manifests itself. And so if we do, and we'll talk about how to, how we embrace this lifestyle and how it shows up physically, but we also know that this is how it shows up in our bodies.
Now, she's trying to define it as a complete lifestyle for all of us.
Yes.
It's
I
called
want
it's
you to
called
think about
living
it. I
in
want you to
peace.
think about it.
Peace of it's called peace. Peace of mind. No, you're absolutely right. When we talked about hustle culture and hustle hearts, what other people like to say is they'll say um grind now, sleep later.
Mm-hmm.
Grinding hard. I'm out here grinding. Hustle now, sleep later. Or sleep is for the weak or the broke.
Well,
All these
sleep is
kinds of
for
things.
suckers is the one that
Sleep is for
uh
Yeah.
suckers. Sleep is a
Yeah.
cousin of death. All this kind of stuff, right? It's
mhm.
like I did a whole men's workshop and presentation, like a whole men's workshop, I should call it, and it was called it was about stress. It was about
Mhm.
stress, you know, and so how it affects your body, how it affects men, because it was about men and working hard consistently and things like that. So you do want to come into peace because Jesus was about living a life of peace and balance with your life. You do things, but there had to be
having a
some
s-
peace. He did still away.
having a Sabbath,
Uh,
right?
that well, part of it is, but also like every day being at peace of mind, having time for
Mhm.
you to just calm the heck down, right? And
Mhm.
it's called rewind is the thing that I did, and it was like
Okay.
just bring yourself back to the place where you're not out here grinding every day with no breaks, all gas, no
Mhm.
break is
Mhm.
not good.
Not good.
But
Mhm.
I didn't call it. I never told the man that day, brothers, we're about to embrace this new concept called the soft life.
Hey,
That'd
you
have been the
said,
last day I'd
listen,
have.
hey, we need to find maybe a more masculine term for it, and that we could take this on the road. But it also
Hey.
impacts it also impacts us, spiritually when we're not
Mhm.
embracing this self lifestyle. We get upset with God for the stresses in life, plans don't go our way. But we know that God knows the plans that he has for us. plans to
Mm-hmm.
prosper us and not harm us. And I think that sometimes when we don't embrace that soft life, that dependency on God, it also impacts us spiritually as well. I know I've been upset with God, and when I get upset, I'm like, God, I know you have all things in your hand, but I'm kind of upset I didn't get this promotion, or
Hey.
I didn't do this, but not down the line knowing that there's other opportunities for us. So I think sometimes when we get stuck on not things not happening the way we plan, we can sometimes get upset with God, and it impacts our spiritual life
Well,
and our
you said
spiritual
that though,
relationship.
the way we plan. So,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
many are the plans. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because I had this whole plan for my life, and
Hmm.
yeah. But how to embrace that soft life and just really know that God really has the best for us. And it mentally it impacts us too when we create anxiety about
Hmm.
what's going to happen socially. It impacts us. Sometimes we'll feel lonely, we'll isolate ourselves, and it impacts our relationships. We're supposed to be kind of extensions of Jesus here on earth. And when we don't, that impacts our relationships and how to really live out God's will and his beauty and his joy. And so we want to definitely tap into that. So we are living out God's will in our life. Yeah.
I'm on.
So,
Okay.
mhm. Yeah, so let's talk about ways we can, embrace our
Yeah, let's
self
talk
life.
about
Hold
that.
on. I tell you what. This one. I love. This is what I like. I like the fact that your wheels be turning,
Hey.
and that you
Mm-hmm.
you are you are trying to conceptualize, you know, a way for people to embrace a lifestyle of dependency on God,
Hmm.
and in all their ways acknowledging Him, right? A lifestyle of surrendering all one's cares to Him,
Hmm.
uh, surrendering their will and getting into His will, right? I think that is great. We have concepts for those now, but I like the seasoning you're putting on it right now, right? So
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's double dipped and battered already. And you just gonna put an extra more, some more
Well,
seasoning, some more, and it's good. But don't put
It's
it on
good.
there because it's your. This is how things get. This is how this is how brands and niches are born, right?
Hmm.
People who are looking for not to be over theological. Well, they don't want to be too theological because they miss the point. They don't want to be too spiritual because they feel like it's not is intelligent enough for their mind, but it's right down someone's alley, right? And
yeah.
I can see this for you, right? So this keep it going.
Keep it
Well,
going.
Don't look at my face. I'm my wheels are turning as you're talking, right? So what
yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It ain't for me. It
Oh,
ain't for
yeah.
me.
No,
Well,
we're
no,
listening.
no, I'm passionate about my community, and I've seen growing up women not taking care of themselves. They are, specifically Black women, are most of the time in our community the head of their household. So they have
Mhm.
so much on their shoulders. So we have health disparities. So, what are solutions that we can combine with other domains of development in our life to really lower those risks? So, it's really about prioritizing your mental health, your well being, so we really can live, what Yoshin, different words, the best life we can here on earth. But
Hold on,
that's what
pause.
really
Live
is.
what? Live what?
We
He
want.
said, where the Goshen come from?
Yeah, just like the best life here on earth, the terminology, because we want to make
What?
sure that we're living longer.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
No, 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 no. You can't just drop words up here that we've never heard of. and just be
Mhm.
like, and it's like me, no. Live the what now? The ocean? Where does that come from?
Goshen.
Goshen,
Oh,
Goshen.
you know,
Goshen.
Yes.
Goshen.
Mhm.
That's why I told you just leave it alone. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know everything, but
Mhm.
I know Goshen, but what break it down for me.
Well, just, living that life where you're thriving that God wanted us to have.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm. So, yeah, so physically, like, how
They
do
they did.
we?
I mean, they did thrive for quite a while. Don't go there, Jerome. Go
Now,
ahead.
I'm not saying now. Maybe you guys know more about
It's okay.
maybe the story a little more, but this is just kind of like things that I've been reading about and how we can really like help our overall lifestyle. And so,
Okay.
when we think about physically, like how do we embrace that self life? So, what are some activities that you enjoy? I'm getting more into cooking. I love massages. I love working out. I love spending time outside. One of my mentors
Me
told me,
too.
"What did you enjoy growing up?" And I
Mm,
enjoyed being outside with my brother and how we can incorporate those things in our lives. But we can, evaluate and assess how to incorporate these physical activities. But we really have to ensure that we're committed to that, because if we're not committed, we're not going to integrate that in our life. And it's just another thing on our to-do list. So really making sure that we hold ourselves accountable and be committed to kind of incorporating the things that we love that will kind of make us a little softer and kinder in life.
and one thing that you said about it brought to my mind just making work out of everything, because even some couples have to put them each other on their calendar, on their schedule. They have to schedule one another in because they're so busy. And I just always thought that was just crazy. I mean, there ought to be some point where you just sat down.
Mhm. And you live with each other. Yeah. So I think that is interesting. I love working out. And then I had to think about, okay, for me, what is the best time to work out? Is it in the morning when I'm highly productive? Or should I go at work after work when I can kind of use that also as a stress reliever? And so, but for me, it's best in the morning, because by the time I get through the day, throughout the day, I'm tired when I come home. Or how to go outside during work, because then I get my vitamin D, which affects mood. Also, just getting out and maybe even doing it with a friend, because then I'm
Hmm.
talking too. So, how can I make sure that I'm prioritizing my physical health? Because I know that also impacts so many other parts of my life.
Exactly.
Hmm. So,
So
yeah,
this,
so. Mhm.
I mean, but it was good this weekend. I just did a whole lot of nothing and enjoyed
Mm.
that.
Yes, and I think
Yeah, nothing wrong
sometimes
with
we can
that.
think isolation is bad, but isolation can be good because it creates boundaries and it allows us to recharge. So we can pour into our cup, and then we can have allow others to reap the benefits of the overflow.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
So you allow others to experience you in a more rested state and not such a static state, not always on your way somewhere doing something, calling folk. Like, my day to day was quite busy, but I knew it was coming because, we had a closing. So, you know, um, requests for documents,
Oh
find
wow.
this, send this, be here at this time. No, you can't have it at this time. These people are going to be late, so it was quite a day. So, I was looking forward to sitting on my sofa, but I'll do that tomorrow.
Rest.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with a little rest.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, well,
maybe a
I'm one of those people. I go to sleep at night, so I have no problem with that. I go to sleep right now. If you if you gave me a pillow, but just to take some time out of the day and not just be rushing here and there. And, of course, I'm in a different stage of life because Lord knows I did all of that most of my life,
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur and having a job and then trying to have a little business on the side and growing that business. And, it, I've done all of that. So now I'm ready to ride my bike in the neighborhood.
All right. I had a problem with that too because I was trying to climb the
Hmm.
ladder. So it was just like every time there was an opportunity to showcase my leadership skills, I was like, oh, I can take that on.
Right.
And but really, it just really drained me.
Hmm.
It created so much stress. And so I had to learn how to create boundaries, knowing my own bandwidth, when to just say no, because no can be just a complete sentence within itself. And
Absolutely.
so knowing that physically, how that impacts me physically, I think that was important and a lesson that I had to learn actually.
Hmm.
So when I talk about these things, it's some things that I actually I've lived out because I neglected myself mentally. And so, kind of assessing, okay, what are some things physically that bring me joy if I'm having a stressful day? I love essential oils. So I have a diffuser. I love peppermint oil and just
Here we
taking
go.
bubble baths.
There you go, y'all. This how I knew it wasn't for us, man. This how I knew. This is
A
how I
little,
knew. I
a
knew.
little,
I knew oils and bubble baths and pampering was coming. Now I'm not saying
you
no
ought to
man
try
don't like
it.
a bubble bath.
Okay.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying we don't like that.
Hmm.
Like that. We do like that.
Okay.
But I
So
knew. I knew.
what things do you like from a male perspective, like physically? Do you like massages? What are some things that you do for yourself physically that reduces stress for you that you enjoy?
I think. Well, let's. I think reducing stress is important.
Hmm.
Um, I think we should be doing that. And like I was saying before, I did an event about this. It's called Reset, not Rewind. Right.
Hmm.
So it's for people to understand reset and get away and understand that Jesus even got a way to reset. Right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And so I think taking care of yourself holistically is a
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
Right. I think that it is important that we listen to our bodies and understand that we do have levels and we do have thresholds that we should pay attention to and not try to push through. So sleep is important, working out
Hmm.
is important to relieve stress, to relieve cortisol and things like that in your body. Not living in a fight or flight mentality constantly. And that's what people live in when they grind constantly, when they're always hustling,
Hmm.
you know, moving from the next to thing to the next. Um, so for me, how I try to relax is I don't, right? Right now, at this
Hmm.
point, it's very hard. No, I do. I have my times. My relaxation comes, it's weird for me, but I like doing things in the yard, right? Like cutting the
Me too.
grass. I
Hmm.
like cutting the grass. One, I don't have to ever worry about anybody want to come join me when I'm cutting the grass. It's not like, oh, bro, you cutting the grass. I'm coming around there right now. Hang on. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm going out here.
Yeah, because it almost is isolation, right? You're isolating
Hmm.
yourself, kind of refueling and getting some quiet time to yourself. So tell me,
Um,
after you cut the grass, or how are you with your wife and kids? Do you feel like at that point you are more engaged with them because you've had that time apart?
when
Uh,
not that I particularly think about it that way because after I cut the grass, they're gonna demand my time regardless.
mhm.
So it's like once I get myself presentable again, like I just cut the
Amen.
grass today. I got had to cut the dead grass off today, and my wife didn't want no parts of the hug I was trying to offer her right when I came in the house. So it
Yeah.
was like, man, you smell. And I was like, yeah. And the kids was like, nah, we're good, daddy. Right.
Yeah, we'll wait.
So no, but to the point is that I I do once you have a sense of accomplishment of some things, because accomplishment does offer those endorphins, it offers that, that sense that, okay, I've done something productive, so I do have
Mm-hmm.
time to spend. And so when you have a person, a mindset of trying to always accomplish something or have something checked off as being productive, it's a reward. So I do spend time with my children, and when we can, right now, we do spend time with each other. But it's it's not a good quality time like we would like, because we do have small children.
Right.
And if anybody knows, y'all know. So we've been working on trying to schedule a time away, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
overnight things or just all day things. But to your point, um, for myself, I'll watch a favorite show. I'll just because after I get off work, my job is so stressful at times. I have to kind of bring it in, and I might need like 15
Decompress.
minutes because kids are like decompress. Decompress is important, but you know, there's not a lot of balance right now. So in my personal life, that way, right? So because my brain is going to get to working like, oh, well, you got a business. Well, once you start doing something with your business today, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of go. So even though I did that workshop on it, I practiced it a little bit. You can get caught back up in it. So you have to be mindful. To your point, I'll say this: you have to be mindful and intentional. So what I
Mm.
do is I do mine in the morning, right?
Yeah.
I've been getting up earlier and earlier because little people hear you up and they're up. So I
Yeah.
don't care. So I'm getting up at 5 o'clock and they're like, "We're up too." I'm like, no. We have quiet time. What it is, my wife has her quiet time in the morning. She'll have her coffee and things like that. And she'll read her whatever she's reading. I'll have mine. We'll put the kids in the playroom. They'll have theirs, and we have to fight for it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, this is my quiet time. Leave me alone, right? So we'll get like 10 to 15 minutes maybe to read, get yourself started for the day. But as far as like hobbies and things like that, or just taking myself to the spa, and I have a spa certificate around here somewhere, a little card that I haven't used.
Sound like you live the
Yeah,
soft lifestyle.
no, I have it because I can't get to it. Right?
Uh-oh,
Somebody
he's
gave me that as a
slipping.
gift. My wife gave me that as a gift over a year ago.
He's slipping in.
So no, sir.
Keep
I
talking.
think
Keep
you should take care of
talking.
yourself. No, I'm not. Listen,
No, I'm not. I'm
I
joking.
think you should get rest. I think you should take care of yourself. I need to get these rusty nails done, probably, right, and things like that. But I said I wouldn't call it the soft
Right. I
life.
told you got to put a mask
It's like calling it
in.
a pampered
Well,
life. Like, man's like, I live a pamper. This is the pampered life.
Mhm.
No, they're not doing that.
nobody's doing that.
Some words have to have some ruggedness to them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I didn't have to think of
You know,
something.
Yeah, you come
you know
up
what I'm
with
saying? Yeah,
something
you gotta
and bring it
you gotta
back
think of
for
something.
another show.
It might come to it right now, right?
It
Yeah, before
might.
I
It's
But yeah, so I think, and then what about spiritually? I talked about, when we get frustrated with God, we sometimes question Him and just vent, like, and have a tantrum. But incorporating small
Like
practices.
Yeezy.
Yeah, yeah. So like how, yeah, I have one of those moments on national television, on YouTube right now. I'm so upset. But no, but how do we also, with this embracing the soft lifestyle, how do we make sure that we are also prioritizing our spiritual life? And for me, at one point I was so frustrated. I was praying, I'm like, what's going on? But I lack reading, reading the scripture. And so that's one thing that I've been prioritizing now, is reading the scripture, because that helps, affirms me, and confirms like God does have the best plans for me. And so I've learned to do that also in the morning when I first wake up, by starting with affirmations. And so
Mm.
yeah.
just, yeah. So, before I even put my feet on the ground, just saying, thank God for waking me up. Thank God for my family. Thank God for my friends. Thank God for a job. Thank God for a car. Thank you for lights. Just kind of starting the day off with those affirmations. And that's really helped me in prayer at night. And so those type of things. And it makes you softer. It makes you, less anxious. It is a great way to start your day off on a positive note. And so, kind of thinking about how do we incorporate in our spiritual life to really holistically just live a life of softness.
You keep saying that word. So you
Of
don't
Say
peace.
want
love.
no you're not gonna want a man who says, I'm a soft man.
Mhm.
That's
No, I would say that. I would say, but I would want to cultivate a household where he is at peace. So, how do I
now
do
see,
that?
that's it. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
It says
Peace.
peace,
Mm-hmm.
stress, less stress and peace. But it's what you're talking about. Jesus modeled these things, as far
Hmm.
as getting away, spending time in prayer. It was necessary talking to the Father, right? Constantly. Um, I think sometimes even when people have a regimented prayer life, it can become stressful to them
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they have made it such a method. They're married to the method, they're married to the time, they're married to the constraint, and now they're married to the accomplishment, checking the box off, right? I'm checking this
Hmm.
box off. I gotta do this. And you can offer all the empty words up you want to God, right? Because it's really about relationship. You and if you don't if you make it such a chore, it loses the value of the relationship and it just
Right.
becomes a thing, right? So yeah, so you do have to have a prayer life, and you do have to read the Word to absorb what God is saying, what He's saying He wants you to
Right.
have or us to have, and what He's saying He wants us to do, right?
Yes.
What He has and what He wants us to do is not what we want, right? He will give us the
Usually,
desires of our
most of
heart,
the
right?
time.
But we
Right.
first have to, um, submit ourselves to Him, honor Him in every way, right? That we know possible. Um, then those things happen.
Yeah.
But if we modeled how Jesus handled things, like for the storm, for instance, right, in the boat, right?
Hmm.
He wasn't worried. He didn't stress out. He knew who he was. He knew the situation, but he modeled this term of, oh, this is a highly stressful moment. I'm going to model this. Well, they was like, hey, you think we about to die? You don't even care. He's like, look, man, chill. I'm right here.
Mhm.
Peace, be still, right?
That's it.
And that's how we should be at peace with life. But life is, like you said earlier from the start, life is going to be life, and right,
Hmm.
you know, and but you have to be willing to understand the source of life and who
Mhm.
has the final say, who has the control over everything, and that's God.
Right. And not be so married to what you wrote your plans down to be. Well, you decided you were going to do all these things, but did
Mhm.
you even consult with God before? Did you even pray about it beforehand? And then when it all goes down the cistern, then you want to be mad with God, but you can't be mad with God because God probably wasn't in it in the beginning.
Right.
True.
So
I
you
think
you can be a little upset with yourself for not including God in the process, and start over, reset, right? And
Mhm.
let's ask God what God would like to your life to
and
look
we
like.
Mhm.
and yeah, and that's the life part. I think we also have to be intentional about making space for us to recharge, reset, and
Hmm.
revive ourselves. You know, um, and those things you have to guard at times. You do have to guard them.
Absolutely.
You have to be aware when you need them, right? And what I mean
Mhm.
by that is something you said earlier, should I work? Should I do something at certain periods of time in a day? Right. There is um there's a behavioral thing. I can't remember it right now, but like when people start, they may have handle their business in one portion of the day, they may work out at another time. It might seem odd, but it's the best. It's how their mind works and their brain works where they're at their best. They may be more cerebral at one point in time of the day. They may more be creative at another point in time in the day. We all don't have that luxury because some of us have 9 to 5s and they don't care about those things.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think God will honor that time for us if we surrender it to Him and not make it so rigid. Like, Lord, I really
Mm-hmm.
need this in the morning. So can you help me, you know, carve this time out to spend with you? Now, preaching to myself at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
God to give me, Jerome, 5 o'clock in the morning where I can be fully awake and rested and ready to go and talk, but I can't be up till 1 o'clock trying to grind on certain things in the morning or 12
Right.
o'clock, right? Because then
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make 5 o'clock and I'm be irritable,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then the kids are going to get doing they just they don't care. They're bullies about
They
it. They're
don't
just going
care.
to do what they do, and then I'm gonna be a crab and
Yep.
old man crotchety crab, and then I'm my prayer time gonna be jacked up and the
Mm-hmm.
day just gonna get away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be intentional. If you're gonna ask God to help you, I'll say this: good people, if we ask God to do something for us, we have to be intentional about guarding it. But we know that we have to set it up
Mhm.
so we done right.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
he'll give it to you if you ask him.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy because I prayed for things years ago, and now I'm just starting to see it come,
Yeah.
like in my family, like praying for
Mm-hmm.
better relationships, and this has been years ago, but it takes time to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships don't develop or strengthen overnight, so definitely He will give it to you. And I think when we talk about when we do have time, what are we doing with our time? With social media, you can go down a rabbit hole and be on TikTok for like 5 hours. You could be on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube
girl, listen,
watching these gossiping, what's going on. There's so much. I was looking at something Diddy is like making news. I'm like, what's going on?
the
So it's just like
internet
we can consume so much media, and how is this impacting our mental health? What is that? Is that helping our self-worth? I was looking at this research article, and they were saying after a person looks on Instagram and they see an attractive person, they get depressed like 5 or 6 minutes afterwards. Yeah, like
is
so,
that for
like
women or for men too? I'm asking.
this
I know.
article, I think it was for women. I think I read it in a women's magazine, but it may
Don't
be the
laugh,
same for
Claire.
men.
I'm like,
Yeah, because
probably. It's
yeah,
I don't know, man.
and that's why they're putting more stricter, regulations on for
especially for young people.
yeah. So, like, what are we consuming, and how is that impacting our mental health? And
Mm-hmm.
at our church, we say this on most Sundays that we allow the Bible to define us and not other things.
That's right.
However, if you're consuming more of media that's detrimental to our mental health, what are we believing? And so, I
Mm-hmm.
think spiritually, um, connecting with God and reading more and praying and meditating and journaling. Those are some type of some activities that we can incorporate in our life to just really have that as an outlet.
Those
For
spiritual disciplines are necessary, but is based on your spirit. I would call like a spiritual type. Some people may not like the journal,
Mhm.
right? They may not want to do that, but they can do something. They can pray, they
Mm-hmm.
can sit, they can just be quiet. Stillness and quietness is very difficult for people to be engaged in. It's almost like, you know, it's almost like hard work just to sit still and to not to listen to anything because now we're so caught up in multiple ways of digesting information, right?
Right.
And I'm guilty. I've caught myself at times watching a football game and checking my email or watching
Mhm.
something on television, even the news. I can watch the news most mornings. CNBC peoples, I watch that, right? And and I'm looking at my email. I'm like, man, I'm watching news. I'm checking my email. I got the work thing going on back here, and you can just find your brain just running, and it's not healthy.
Overstimulated.
It's overstimulated, um, and then you're trying to prioritize things that don't need to be prioritized, right? So some days I'm like, man, I really wish I could just lose my phone for a couple hours, right?
Mhm.
But then I would probably have to talk myself into like it's okay for the first couple hours that I can't
Mhm.
find my phone.
Yeah, we're connected,
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah,
we?
and
Yes.
it's the reality that we're in. Um,
Mhm.
it was even now it's difficult to not be distracted at times.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, um, we touch our phones like a couple thousand times a day, not
Mhm.
100, like thousands of times a day. Touch it, like you'll just I'll sit there and be like, I'm not gonna touch my phone. I'm gonna try this out. When I first saw the study, and I think Anderson Cooper also did it. It was on 60 Minutes or on his show one time, and your hand just automatically like creeps over to like, is your phone still there? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's right there. I can see it. Why do I need to touch it? You know, but that's how our
Yeah.
brains work. And so if that's the case, we're constantly thinking about things. We're not at any type
What's
of
next?
rest.
Yeah.
What's
You
I,
know,
next?
one thing that I had to put as a boundary, even on my phone, I have like this screen time um
yeah, I tried
stop.
that.
Yeah, what is it? Screen time tracker. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I only am going to spend an hour on day on social media. And even once it pops up, hey, you've reached your limit, I'm like, give me 15 more minutes, you know?
Girl, I had a whole app that would block me from even getting into the thing. And
Wow.
I just took it off one day. I'm sick of this. Right? It's like Pookie. I was like, I gotta have it. Just,
Yeah.
you know, but I've cut a lot of that out.
Well,
It's
I've been trying to be intentional, especially during the fast, to
Yeah.
not reach for the phone first thing in the morning. And if I do, then I will just go on the Bible app and not certainly not read emails, not go to Facebook or any of that stuff. Because we were reading certain things in the Bible app for the young people. So one of our series is in there. So that's been my intentional thing because there's nothing to just reach over there, start scrolling, see what's going on TikTok.
Right. And it's so good too. You're just like, you
Well,
keep going and
it's
going.
it's better than TV for me, right?
Right. And I'm pretty sure that our televisions are going to be just like VCRs one day, as we evolve,
Yeah,
what
because
direction
I
it's going to
mean, you don't even have to turn it on. You got so much entertainment on your phone.
go. Hmm.
Um,
But
yeah,
yeah, that
it's
really creating boundaries with our technology is important too, because again, we're consuming so much, but how is that impacting our mental health? How is it
right.
impacting our physical health? Because if we're watching stuff on our phone, that means we're not being physical either, and
That's true.
and reap those benefits of exercise. So I think that's important as well. And then also social and emotionally. I think sometimes, as I mentioned, we pour so much out, we don't pour enough in. And sometimes I have to create my own winter, as our pastor would say. I create my own winter just to recharge. I'm like, okay, let me just like isolate myself and regroup
Hmm.
and pour into myself and do some of the things that I like. And then maybe 2 weeks later, I can get back and get more involved and engage with the community. But kind of
Hmm.
just understanding that socially sometimes it's okay to isolate, as Coach
Absolutely.
said, and then we can be better to our friends and our family members. And so I think that's something to be aware of. And I think it takes a lot of emotional intelligence to really be aware of that and how to manage your relationship. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I think, even how our emotions impact, if you know that, like you said, you are busy all night, then you woke up at 6 o'clock instead of 5, that just kind of um, it really shapes your
Ruin you.
whole day. It shapes your whole day, but then kind of taking a second and realize, okay, where are these feelings coming from, or even naming your emotions.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm feeling
Oh
frustrated
yeah,
because I'm running late.
you have to be able to
Yeah. Yeah.
you
So
have to name
just,
your
being
emotions.
aware of
And
that.
people, yeah, you have to, because people
hmm
will you ask people, how you doing? I'm good. Good is not an emotion, right? It's not on the emotional wheel, the word good.
I'm
And
good.
hmm
yeah, I'm good. Oh man, I've been doing so good today. I feel good. No, good is not an emotion. I when I was had a men's group, and these guys, they were like, oh, we would start off with how we was feeling, catching up, and I was like, nope. I sent everybody a emotional wheel, so they could identify, locate themselves, and really
That's
tap
good.
into where they are. Because you have to
Mm-hmm.
know, you have to know
Right.
what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just gonna gloss over it, and it's gonna fester. But I
Mm-hmm.
do like the fact of, you know, that you, Aisha, are intentional about trying to name or put a title to something that people can at least identify for themselves, right? And ground it. I know you've been using scriptures to ground it in scripture, and that's great. Um, I don't know what you would call it for men, maybe fresh life or something like that, or,
It's
refreshing
coming.
life. Uh, uh, It's got, refreshing life or something like that. But soft life's not gonna work for me. I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah.
My man's gonna
I'm
stay
gonna
in
have
church.
it.
I'm living the soft life. It's not not gonna happen.
I'm gonna have the
Yeah.
name. It's coming to me.
Yeah.
It's coming.
I believe it. I
But
believe it. I can't wait for it.
right, so it's a part of like emotional
Good life.
intelligence, a part of the good life. The good life,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
maybe,
emotional intelligence is something that people need to have.
hmm
They gotta have that EQ, man. You gotta
hmm
have that emotional quotient going there, right? So you got to know who you are and address that, so you're not stressed out, so you're not going off on yourself and your self-talk. What you talked about earlier, self-talk is important.
Yes, it
um,
is.
People have gratitude journals. I used to have a list on my mirror, that I placed of words, and that they weren't necessarily affirmations. Well, you could call them affirmations, about who I am. They were
Mm-hmm.
affirmations, actually. I had like 30 that I would read every morning. And I was listening to Tudor Bismarck one day, and he broke it down about those affirmations of life. And I immediately typed mine up. But it's healthy to have that when
Mm-hmm.
you're going through
Absolutely.
certain times. And then a list of things not to do. So I had another list of productive things I didn't want to do, right? Being in front of the TV, not working out, not reading the books, not, putting myself in situations where I could be around good people. And you want
Right.
to do that too. But, maybe I work in a massage there somewhere, bubble
Yeah.
bath.
Find that certificate.
Yes, and if you don't want it, donate it. Hopefully, it's
Hey,
a national chain. We'll take it. It's
we'll,
it's
we'll
Women's
take it.
History Month.
Uh-uh. It's around
That's
here
right.
somewhere. I promise you.
I
I
bet
got
you
that
still
joke.
will find it.
I
But
have it.
yeah.
I have it. I
But
do.
yeah,
That,
even naming the emotion, I feel like you can come up with a solution. You're like, okay, I'm frustrated because of this. Okay, let me
Exactly.
take a moment and just calm myself. Let me
Mm-hmm.
find like peace, be still.
What's
But
the
yeah, I
root
think that.
cause?
Yeah, how do you get to that? And people don't know how to identify. So I love the emotional wheel. My friends with children, they'll have it on their refrigerator and they'll ask their children, okay, how are you feeling today? And they'll point it out. So I think that's good. You're already at a young age being able to
Mm-hmm.
identify that. So yeah, so I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, because
Um,
we weren't able to do that when we were young. It was either children are seen and not heard, right?
Emotion.
exactly.
What emotions? You got no emotions, and
What
you
emotions,
live
right?
long
You
enough to have
either
any emotions.
exactly. You're either happy or you're sad. Go to bed.
Mhm.
That's right.
But
But yeah,
and then when you do, like, if you are well and you are that social aspect of your life, because there are some introverts and there's some extroverts, but what are some things socially you like to do? And thank God for technology. For those introverts, you can now use meetups. We have church community, life groups within our church.
Mm-hmm.
uh, there's sororities and fraternities. So there's a way to still engage socially, because we are not, I'm just thinking about church tonight. Maybe it's because it's Holy Week, but one
It
of our
is.
other pastors says, we do not live life alone. And so
That's
we
right.
were created to be a part of a community. We are the church. And so making sure that we are able to communicate and be kind to each other, because we know if we're upset, we are less likely to be kind to others. And so making sure that if you are well and you do like to participate in different communities, just being able to know where you can find um, those opportunities. And for me, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
extrovert, and so just
really.
Really.
being, being around people, I just love being around
Right.
people. So that's exciting for me. So if I am isolating, it's kind of a time for me where I do need to isolate so I can get tap back into that extrovert that's in me.
Yeah.
How
I'm
about
an
you, shit? Claire, are you an extrovert or introvert?
I'm actually an introvert.
Mm.
It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm out there when I'm out there, but I'm like a turtle. Let me come home and
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nah,
I
So
would have do that.
I'm
But
a,
yeah.
I'm an ambivert.
okay.
So
Well, I'm probably am an ambivert, but home and on my sofa, I'm just fine.
Mhm. So I have some tips, some last minute tips for
Okay,
everyone.
give us some
hey,
tips.
come on with your whole presentation. Go ahead.
I was trying to be prepared tonight. I was like, I have to make sure that my
No,
computer is.
this is a talk show. We had a good time. You come up here the whole presentation. All right, got it. What's the
Well,
presentation? Is it called
I'm
the soft life?
very.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on with your points.
You just
Okay, so
as
all
she
right.
closes and takes her seat, she gonna leave us with these points before she get up out of here.
That's right. And I close with
I'm gonna close with these points
As
because
I
I don't want y'all to
conclude.
say I came here today, didn't get anything. So let me give y'all my 4 points, and we're gonna close up out of here. Let me get
yeah,
on the
come on with
organ.
your points.
As I conclude
As you
our
yeah, there you
message
go.
on the soft life, I want you guys to think about um, just really, again, the soft life is for men and women. We can call it the good life for the guys, but for the women, it's really the soft life. And what is the root of this? This is root to really just decrease stress, because we want to live a great life so we can win people to God and just really live out the will that God has for our life. So really assess what are some things that you enjoy physically, and how you can incorporate that in your life. And don't really try to pick 1,000 things, because it's really about really creating a habit that can be maintained. So you don't have to say, oh, I want to wake up at 5 a.m. I want to take a walk. I'm going to pray. I'm going to take a walk. I'm going to go to work, get outside in the sun, go work out, talk with friends, all those type of things. Don't try to do so many things when you're trying to create a new habit. So identify kind of maybe just one physical thing that you may do this week that is really going to kind of decrease the stress in your life. I think for mentally, spiritually, pick, like Coach said, like either you are going to meditate, journal, read the Bible, pray. What is your love language to God? And so kind of identifying that for yourself. And for me, it's kind of just talking like I'm talking to a normal person, kind of shifting that relationship. Like, God, what is going on? People will probably be looking at me in my car like, she's talking to herself, but just kind of really like, what is going on? So really kind of strengthening, or identifying what you can incorporate in your life to kind of reduce stress that strengthens your relationship with God. I think, and then mentally, I think you have to be mindful of what you consume, and know that really kind of talks about your self-confidence, your self-worth. Don't compare yourself to others, because that's a trick of the enemy, but just making sure that you prioritize your mental health, because if you don't, that also impacts your physical health. So there's a relationship between that. So make sure that mentally you're checking in with yourself. Think about what you're saying to yourself. And I use another tip is downloading the I Am app. It's a free app, and it's just affirmations, and you can set a timer and they'll send you affirmations throughout the day, as much as you want, or maybe just once a day, but you can change the frequency on how you receive those. Yeah. And then I think, again, just emotionally, knowing your emotions, naming your emotions, being able to name those emotions. And I think these are great, a great skill to have, and being able to manage yourself and being just socially aware.
You gotta have some EQ. But you mean I can't just keep telling myself I'm the head and not the tail all day long? I need some additional affirmations.
Yeah, you said I'm great. I embrace myself the way I am. Those. But this is a great app. They have different categories on, like, if you want something about love or job related. So and it's free. So it's
That's
been a helpful
interesting.
tool.
I didn't know that. Now, they have me writing affirmations for the young people every Wednesday. I might have to
Really?
cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could ask Chat GPT to write you about or create
Yes.
the affirmations, or
well,
Claude
I
AI,
enjoy
somebody.
I enjoy writing them myself
See, that's what
for
I'm
them.
talking about, right? And
Mhm.
hmm
keep it
Yeah, I mean,
grounded.
I got to keep my mind. I'm
Stay on
caregiving,
him.
so I was running around here today looking for something that I had almost in my fingertips. So I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
what vitamins do I need to be taking? I need some MCT oil and all that other stuff.
Not,
Yeah, I think that's another thing, vitamins, physical health, because like for me, I have a vitamin D deficiency, and that impacts mood. So
hmm
especially in the winter, where I'm not getting the vitamin D from the sun. So kind of being aware of that too, physically in your body. So kind of making sure that those vitamin levels are kind of stable too. And so, but I'm glad you mentioned that. That's something I think we have to do, especially for our community, because a lot of times we do have iron deficiencies and those type of
hmm
things, but that could impact so many other areas of our life too.
You got a dog?
No. I know Jerome was like, "What's over there now?"
No,
I
we
But
finally
I
got a
didn't say
battery for
anything.
the
that
smoke
was my
alarm.
ice maker.
Okay.
I didn't say anything because I don't do smoke detectors making noises.
That's what I was
I
like. At least she
literally
got a battery for that thing.
listen. I literally
I
got
knew
up.
someone had to come put it up. That's
I got up. It was 3 in the morning. I was laying there, I rolled over and I heard it. Beep. I I was like, this can't be. And I said, I'm gonna just ignore it till the morning. And I couldn't. I got up at 3 in the morning and changed that smoke. I was like, I'm not that person. I can't ignore that. It won't work. Um, but your points are poignant and on time and timely because it's we could call it a community thing, but a cultural thing right now more so than anything. There are a lot of people who are social media life, living a life of culture, hustle culture. There's so many opportunities for, um, I would say, millennials and Gen Zers, and to just be out and do great things in spaces of creating and also creating business opportunities for themselves, and where they a lot of them are not entering into, we talked about this before, meaningful relationships right now. And so they're just grinding, just moving, they're just getting all that they can. That's something to be said. There's philosophies about working hard your early part of your life so that you can enjoy the latter part, right? But that's not the culture that's being presented. It's just the culture of working hard and grinding for things, right? Not
Right.
not so that you can live a life that is easy or set something up for your children and your children's children later. It's just we're just out here moving about and just doing so much with no rest. Um, but then again, I do know some young people who they get out there and they're traveling, they're doing it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they going
Yeah,
broke right now. So um
yeah. I feel like, I push back on some of the entrepreneurship stuff. I feel like I understand that it gives us financial freedom in some ways, but it does also comes with a lot of stress as well. And
oh yeah.
so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think some people, I think it was this big push around 2020. They're like, get you a business started, but
No,
that,
that would get you a PPP loan and then start a business.
Yeah,
You
that.
go to jail after that.
like, but that's a hard life when you're starting off. You're going to be working a 9 to 5, and then you get off, and then you have to invest in your business. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was pressure, because I felt like pressure to start a business just because of this whole now push towards entrepreneurship, but that causes stress too. And if we're all entrepreneurs, what about these other institutions that exist? How we're showing up in those spaces.
Well, you could be an entrepreneur. I think some people were, I'm not gonna say all people, but one of the issues also may have been when people decided to quit their jobs to become
Too
entrepreneurs.
early, too soon.
Right. When they didn't treat their first job like a business, and
Right.
so which they should have their primary
Mm-hmm.
job. I'm not
Right.
leaving this job yet. I have I have a business. I have two companies and one business that I'm running. I have clients, but I'm not leaving that. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going out there because it doesn't make the income I need, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I know people who have left their jobs
Mm-hmm.
and they're out here doing it all. And when I see them, they're like, man, brother, it's hard out here. And I'm like, yeah,
Right.
it is.
They say a
Mm-hmm.
definition of an entrepreneur is somebody who will work 60 hours to keep from working 40 hours for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't.
Mhm.
No, not until you're doing one of these in one of these situations where you only have to do, well, if you had to do the job in
Right.
speaking, for example, 4 or 5 or 10 events a year and you're done because your salary, your fee is that. But I'm looking for the automatic, like the constant money coming in. I don't have to do anything, and I don't want to own.
Passive
I don't want to
income.
own any passive income is what it's called, right? I don't want to own
Mhm.
any property because I don't want to have to go
Mhm.
collect any rent, and I don't have to
Me
fix
either.
nothing, and I don't have to pay any property taxes because they be like buy a house, rent it out. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't-
I don't know.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, however they decide to do it, being an entrepreneur can be stressful, right? But
Yes, it can be.
it can. It doesn't have to be. You know,
That's
I
true.
think
I
it
mean,
can.
because it gets some people going.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there.
You are an
But
entrepreneur. You are
Yeah.
a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Now I'm like I said, I'm trying to be a sofa surfer. Um, and walk my
But you
dog,
got it
ride my
going on.
bike,
Yes,
and
it's
So
in my
Aisha,
video part too.
do a
what are you
podcast.
doing? How do you embrace the soft life? Give me like one of your primary ways you embrace
Who, me?
both of you. How you put yourself out
Oh,
there? I got you.
Mhm.
Give me both, both of you. Give me one thing that you would do to embrace the soft life.
Well, I'm already doing a lot of things, but one thing that I do love, I love bubble baths. So I have a jacuzzi, like a tub, so with bubbles, and then I'll have my diffuser on with my peppermint oil, and I'll put my oil in the bathtub, and all
yeah.
of that, and I'll put music in the background. So that's kind of one thing. Even with colors, I find that when I wear like certain colors, like pink and lilac, those type of colors, it makes me softer. So,
Hmm.
shopping for different things. Um, Shopping, even if it's just window shopping, I like going shopping and I like being outside. And so that kind of just helps my overall health. So those are kind of just the little things that I do that helps me tap into my softer side.
Hmm.
What about you, Dr. Henry?
Yes.
Well, I'm similar. I love to be outside. I mean, I love when the sun is shining, and I play golf, so I love to go play golf. Even if I go by myself, I just enjoy being out there in the sun, and you know, listening to the birds, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I mean, even just sitting on the deck. Of course, we have to do it quickly before the mosquitoes wake up because they're not quite awake yet. Because here, let me tell you, it's a serious jungle. North Carolina is a jungle when it comes to bugs. But anyway, yeah, I love, let me go hit some balls, ride my bike. I just love to be outside. I mean, I've worked outside most of my life. And even when I
Right.
was inside, they would catch me looking out the window. They're like, "You miss it, don't you?"
Right.
Wow.
I moved into management. I'd be looking out the window. I'm like, it's cold in,
Like a cage
yeah,
bird.
exactly.
Let me out.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of the things I love to do. And then, just chilling, um, and serving. I love serving at my church.
That's good.
That's soft life for me.
Mhm.
That's what's up.
That's what's
And
up.
how do you? What are some things you mentioned before? But I know we're going to end for the guys that are on here. What are some things that helps you live the good life? The good life.
The good life.
Oh, y'all talking about window shopping. Man, just drop me off at Target. You know what I'm saying? I just go in there and
Oh,
walk
you're
around
target.
and look. I'm gonna tell you something. When I go into Target, I feel like I feel safe and refreshed. I go in there, I be like, I can just breathe,
Tarjay.
right? I feel like they knew what they were doing for me.
Mm,
It's
mm,
for me.
mm.
I go around, look at the same stuff, but it's like I've seen it for the first time. I don't care, you know.
Mhm.
Wow.
Just go around. I like hanging out there. No, Home
Mhm.
Depot. I'll go in there.
So were you joking?
No,
No,
he's
I mean
not.
no. No, my
Target.
wife would be like, "Where you going?" I'm going to Home Depot. You ain't buying that. I might find something. I'm just gonna go spend it.
Mhm.
You
No.
know what
But
was
So
so
yeah,
Target.
funny
I
during
thought
the
you were
during
real about Target.
you know what
I'm
was so
serious.
funny though? During the pandemic, there were lines of people trying to get into Home Depot. They were letting people in, and then they got to a limit. They started letting people in 5 at a time. I was like,
Yes.
guys are just trying to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Guilty. Guilty.
Like
I'll
help
be in
me.
there looking for everything.
That was so funny to me. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
believe all these people are in line trying to get in Home Depot.
Hmm.
Not buying the
Yep.
thing, just
They
walking
didn't
up
know
and
what to
down the
do.
aisles. Poor things.
Yeah.
Touching stuff. But yeah, I am I will go to I am a serial Target shopper. I go up in there. Sometimes I go in there, I don't buy anything. I just go. Be like, man, it's just a getaway,
That's funny.
right? It's where I'm.
Yes, I like Ross,
So
Marshalls, and those type of places.
no, I can't go to those places. I go to Marshalls every now and then, catch a shirt sale, but it's too small and it's too many people sometimes, and I just like to roam around, and it's only certain Targets. Some of them I can't stand,
Mhm.
but the newer ones, the nice ones, yes.
Mhm.
So that's my lame joint right there that I like to do.
All right.
Um, my wife makes me take walks around the neighborhood and on the greenway. I will walk on them by myself sometimes, but yeah. Um, Me, you know, I don't do it now, but oh, here we go, y'all. Check this out. I used to take bubble baths.
Ah.
Yeah, just sitting there, put the music in there and stuff
Yeah.
and just chill.
Mhm.
Because you want to relax,
Mhm.
right? Relax and just melt the day, a week away, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But play a lot of sports. Don't play that anymore because you can't be tearing stuff.
Mhm. Right.
Uh,
Yes, and even
I know.
grooming. Grooming is a part of that too, like going to get a haircut or getting your hair. I
He
always get my nails and pedicure, so that's a part of my like monthly routine. I get my eyebrows done,
Mhm.
those type of things. So, um,
So would you consider the soft life? So I like different kinds of soap.
Hmm.
mm,
Is that considered making sure I buy certain things and try them out
mm.
because I like those? Is that the soft life?
I feel like that's self care. Anything
I
self
think
care.
so.
Self care.
Yes,
It's a self care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why
Yeah.
but
does
yeah.
it?
As
Yeah.
long as I don't start doing my hands like this,
Right.
I'm good.
That's what I was gonna say. I
I'm
feel
gonna get grabbing the air.
the soft life, for women. So I feel like sometimes people confuse it with tapping into your femininity, because that's two
I've
different
heard
things.
that.
Yeah, I feel like
Mhm.
you can tap into that, but you still are not embracing kind of like the softness. Like
Mhm.
you can get your hair done, these type of things, but you can still kind of be you can still be hard exteriorly. So I mean your exterior. So just thinking about that, I think there's two different things.
Masculine.
Hmm.
You can still be masculine and embrace like
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
there are
I do a
we
facial
still
every
need to
now and
talk
then.
about
So
that. Can you can and I don't know if we have time for this, but can you tell like if a woman is living or in her soft life or versus maybe someone that's maybe more alpha like or doesn't kind of embrace softness? Can
you
you
can
can you
tell.
tell that like by just
who
looking at the
me?
woman? Yeah.
Eh, Just by looking at
Hmm.
them, I can't say just by looking.
Okay.
Um, you know, maybe if I have a conversation with them or something like that,
Mhm.
or there's a kind, I hate to say it, but I'm not gonna say hate to say it. Some people move with a certain kind of movement and energy, right? Where it is you can be commanding without being masculine
Hmm.
Mhm.
about it,
Hmm.
you know. And I think I can see women who are confident in their femininity, and when they move into places and spaces that command attention, it is refreshing to see, and it is like complimentary, like, oh man, this is really, you know this is a woman who is about her business and she knows who she is. She's not trying to be someone else,
Mhm.
and that's a whole nother
Yeah, that's
show.
what I was
That's a
gonna say.
whole
I don't
nother
Because
even want to
show.
get into that.
I know I can tell you, I got in trouble. Did I mention this on here one
I
time
don't
that I
know.
got in
You've gotten
trouble
in a lot of trouble. So what
about?
trouble was this?
I was in school. I was in undergrad, right? Non-traditional student working with grown folks working, right? Um, at night, and I made a statement,
Oh boy.
and all my intent. Oh, hey, listen here, all right? I was coming from a sincere place.
Mm,
This was before cancel culture, so
mm,
all right. And I'm not gonna say anything that's cancel culture now,
mm,
because don't believe that I did at the time. All I said was women shouldn't have to dress like men to be accepted in places in corporate America. You would have thought they get somebody said, hand the torches out now, right? And I was like, oh my gosh. Because because I saw some sisters that was coming to the class, and they were in corporate, and some of them were directors and stuff. But it's coming in these pantsuits, and I'm like, man, these things look just
I
like
know.
men's
What is
suits
it
with
with y'all and these
some bell bottoms,
pantsuits? But anyway, go
right? And
ahead.
it's not that they were not. They didn't have. Okay. Ooh, let me backtrack. I could look. The suit didn't look feminine. The suit looked masculine. But I knew they wore these masculine suits so they could fit in and be accepted by men in suits. And I didn't think it was right for women to have to dress that way. But the sisters
The sisters
went
will
off
come
on a
for you.
boy. Man, I was like, and then they started talking fast, and I started stuttering. And at that point, I was done. Right?
Got you.
Once you start stuttering, it's over, right? And the professor was like, "All right, Jerome, just you're done."
Yeah.
I got cooked for no, and I was like, "I'm trying to help you." And it was like,
that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. Whole nother podcast, because I think with that, that's why we have created this pink pill, the red pill and blue pill community, where you have people like Kevin Samuels,
the late Kevin Samuels.
late Kevin Samuels, and then you have who is it? I think her name April. She's she coaches
April Mason.
She teaches classes. Like, now people are making money on like how to be feminine or those type of things. So we've created these extremes in the world.
Well, I think we created an extreme, and there's a deficit, so people are trying to find a way to capture that. And in some spaces, I think it's an overcompensation in there, where guys are demanding, or like, I need a woman who is feminine. They will literally say it now. I never heard guys before the last couple of years say, I need a woman who is feminine.
Right.
And so for a man that say that, let me say this, women should stop and take inventory and be like, why is that even a thing? Why do you have to say that? But the rebuttal is the question of why isn't coming there. It's now defense, and then then it's attacking the man who says something like that, as he's not accepting, or he's what's the word, intimidated, and and it becomes, and it's like the brothers are telling you, hey man, we don't want to date ourselves. That's all we're saying.
Why is it necessary to say just date who you date?
But what I'm saying, right? But what I'm saying is, it's before a man to have to say that, it must be a deficit in something growing in the community that he wants to be dating.
I don't know about that. My mom always said it takes all kinds. So there's somebody for everybody.
There might be somebody for
that's
everybody,
what he
but
likes,
guess what?
If that's what he likes,
No.
that's just what he likes.
I think you might be missing, or I'm not clarifying what I'm saying. I don't
maybe
know.
all of the above.
I'm saying is, there's enough evidence now where men are actually asking for women to be more feminine. If they're asking for it, then there must be a deficit in the community of women that lack what they're asking for.
Or
Because
maybe he found
women are
his voice,
saying that there are
now
not
he's
enough
able.
men. Well, I check it. So, well, let's deal with this. The number of available men are in decline, and the men who are available are saying they want women who are less masculine, or more feminine. So if that's the case, that's what I'm saying. There's a deficit created people are voicing their need for what is now a deficit, and people are getting upset because men are identifying the deficit. But just like if you say you want a man who's mad, you don't want some guy who, this is a whole nother show now. You don't
I know.
want some
I was
guy who is
like,
Really, it is.
like, you don't want a guy who is if there was an overabundance of I would say feminine acting men. Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying they are attracted to men. I'm saying raised by
Right.
their mamas, more men raised by women who are more feminine acting, who have more feminine characteristics, and women are like, "Hey, where are the men?" Not saying that you ain't a
Right.
male. You're not a male, but where are the men that my granddaddy was like, or my daddy that was like, or that I
Yeah.
used to hear about them old R&B songs?
mm,
Men would have to take inventory, be like, well, what the heck am I doing? We couldn't get
Mm-hmm.
upset and be like, well, take me as I am then, in
mm,
Z formation. Like, we're not doing that, right?
mhm. Yeah.
So y'all would have every right to say that. So that's what I'm saying. I think there's both sides where there's a deficit, overcompensation, but we got to hear each other in conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can have some
Mhm.
manifestation
Uh-oh.
of
We're about to
relationships.
drop the mic, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Here we go.
But
You,
just remember that the soft life is.
You're like, let me bring it
yeah.
back to the
Yeah.
soft life.
Yeah. Help
I
us
ain't on
conclude. In
No,
the
conclusion,
conclusion.
I really like. I feel like we do need to talk about masculine, feminine, because that it's really society is starting to pin us against each other,
mm-hmm.
and that's not. We're supposed to be living in unity. There should be a balance in the world, yin yang, and so I think that we need to explore that and have that in a healthy environment where people aren't pointing fingers, because I feel like what's lacking from a lot of these discussion is balance and understanding. So,
Yeah. You're right, Miss Soft Life.
We
yeah,
could
maybe.
say that. I think
Mhm.
balance, understand, but the that comes, you have to be heard,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and so there's a lack of listening, and there's more
Mhm.
preparation for debating, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mhm.
lack of empathy when it comes to
Right.
what's being said, and of course in those shows they promote the discord, right? They promote
Mm-hmm.
the dissonance and disharmony, and not a healthy discourse about what's going on. So
Right.
I think we should have that. And
Yeah, which is why the weight room exists. A place to process. So the perfect platform for these type of conversations.
Absolutely. Come on
man,
in
we've been on here
here.
a long time today. Y'all got it.
I know it's almost an hour and a half. Go ahead. All right, Aisha. She's always I mean, one of the favorites. I told you, you and actually she and Dominique have the like the biggest views for their shows.
Mhm.
Isn't that
Well,
interesting?
well, we may both have to come on here one
We
day then.
might.
Coach is gonna be like, I got some work to do.
Right.
Last time when he
Huh?
wasn't
Calling
here.
me?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
do you
It's
need
somewhere
me?
last
between dating and celibacy. I mean, it's interesting that that's where people
Boy.
are like, whoa, give us more of that.
Dating, celibacy, masculine, feminine, you know. We don't gotta
dating.
touch the genders, because Lord knows there's
No, let's not
101
go.
of
Oh
those
no,
now.
that
Yeah.
will you probably get a million views, but no, thank you.
We don't need to go viral for that.
Yeah, I don't I'm not interested in going viral right now. But anyway, thank you so much, Aisha. You always, come on and give us some thought-provoking, entertaining topics. And you're always so well prepared, and it's always just good to see you. So
Bravo.
Oh,
thank you for
always a
coming
fun
on.
time. I love
Yeah,
this song. guys. I love your perspectives because I could be thinking about it from my perspective, and then Coach comes in and saying, "Well," or you and your experiences. So I think it just helps me broaden my perspective too. So it's a pleasure.
Oh, so
I
you're
like it.
using
I
us?
like.
No, I'm just kidding.
I like it. No,
It's
I like it.
reciprocal. Yeah.
Right. I like. I, I think you got a good thing going there.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
concept
So,
going right.
work on that concept. And, especially when you figure out what to call the guys, come back and talk about that.
You may not need to worry about the guys. It's enough. Your niche out there's enough people out
No,
there.
we care about the guys. We want to get the guys to have a term. So maybe
I get
we'll
some
poll.
t-shirts made for the
Yeah.
guys.
Maybe
The
we'll have a
refreshed
poll. We'll
life.
ask some of the guys what they
Yes.
think.
Yeah, I'm going to do a
Yeah.
focus group.
There you go. Well, come on,
Yes.
pray us out, Elder Coach.
Oh man, this is not my thing. This okay.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what, Father, we thank you for this time that we've been allowed to share. We thank you for our
Thank
special
you.
guest Aisha and her preparation, Father, and her concept for the soft life, Lord. And we thank you for this topic. It is apropos for such a time as this week is Holy Week, as we remember our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and his sacrifice for our salvation, his rising and ascending, Lord God. We thank you because it ties in with this, Lord, is that you've called us to live a good life in every aspect. You came that, Jesus, you came that we might have light and have it more abundantly and to the fullest. And so Aisha is echoing that tonight. She called it a soft life. We call it a good life. How about we know it as this, though, Lord, the best life that we can live, the life that you gave us. And we're so grateful for it. And I ask that you will bless Aisha and her concept as she goes forward, Lord, and that it would expand and increase the number of audiences viewed, seen, and heard. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Coach Jay.
Yes.
And as
But
always,
the
I
soft life.
ask y'all to
No, because you have something good going. You got something good going. And I think
yeah,
I like it.
keep working on that concept. I like, the way that you brought in the biblical aspects and Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Go with it. Get us some t-shirts so we can wear them on the show next time.
Okay.
Make mine pink.
I think it will look good in pink too.
Probably, yeah.
Pink is a masculine color. I don't know what y'all talking
It
about.
is. Absolutely.
Yes, I remember when Kanye brought it, in the early 2000s with the polo with the, collars pop.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, Dr. Claire, you may not know.
I've never
But
followed
pink used
him.
to
I
be
mean,
a boy's color. And pink used to be for boys and blue used to be for girls. Look it up.
Really?
seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
I have to
Pink
look
used to
that
be
up.
for boys and blue used to be for girls.
You
And
look
then
that up.
it got switched around.
Okay.
Marketing for clothing. It got switched around later on.
Okay. Sounds like a winner.
Be knowing stuff.
But great to see you both. Hope to see you again soon. We'll see you. What, Easter Monday is what they call it, the Monday after Easter. We're gonna have a good time. I think Mr. Kenneth Thorne, is gonna come on and talk about the psalmist. So anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I say that every week, and I'm gonna say it again this week. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. Love you much. Thanks for watching The Weight Room.